What's up everybody, my name is Martin and welcome to a new video. Currently I am still in France and I'm in a village. Right behind me is the town hall and it has a bank and it has a boulangerie or a bakery and it has a pharmacy. Currently it's Sunday and people will probably go to church just like in any other small village. But in 1944 things changed because I am going to show you what mankind can do when war is going on. As you can see in the distance there is a large forest and it's a beautiful sky today, the sun is out. But if you walk down this hill you will come to a small village which has the same name as the current village has where we are right now. Right over here there's a nice little restaurant. Right over there is a quite modern church. And as soon as we're at the entrance of the other village I will tell you more about it. To enter the village of Oradour Sur Glane you have to go to the memorial first, which is right over here. And this is all made up of metal and you have to walk down some stairs. Then you get into a little exhibition area where they also have a shop. And then you have to walk through the tunnel to enter the actual village. You're not allowed to film inside the entrance area. So this is the actual entrance of the village. I have to walk up some stairs. And I am actually the first person this morning. So I have the whole village for only a few minutes for myself. But you can see here already some ruins. I try to walk a little fast so I can take some nice shots of the village without any other people walking around. Alright, so this is basically where you enter the village right now. And right here you can see it was the dentist area. And I'm going to tell you more about it in just a little bit, but first I wanted to take the chance to walk around here without any other people walking around. It's really just a ghost town. And here you can see the rails. Wow. I went here yesterday afternoon and it was really crowded with people. But just to walk around here on your own, it's something different. Man. There's a little metal thing that a sign would be hanging on. Go and walk in the shade for a bit because the sun is getting warm already. Because I'm in the center of France. It is Friday the 9th of June 1944, and the people in this village are just enjoying their day. Probably must have been a warm day, as I was reading in some books, and they were just doing their business, nothing to worry about. This village called Oradour Sur Glane is just a little town in France in the Limousin area, and it was visited by many people because there were different kinds of shops here. People wanted to come on holiday here, even from the bigger cities, because this was really a nice, chill village with people just going on about their day and nothing to worry about. Day goes by and people just go to bed, nothing to worry about, like I said. It is Saturday the 10th of June 1944. People wake up, go about their business, start their day. The children had to go to school. And around 12 o'clock there must be probably some lunch break or something. People would go home, close their shops for a little bit, have some dinner or some lunch, and afterwards they would go back to the daily life. And around 2 o'clock a German motorcycle crosses this village. Behind the motorcycle is a truck or a tank coming, and more tanks coming into the village, and more. And these were the tanks of the 2nd Division, Das Reich, of the SS. People didn't know anything what was about to happen, and they were just standing inside of their homes, checking out what all the tanks and the other vehicles were doing in their village. People would come out of their buildings and stop for a little bit their work, and all of a sudden the German commander announced that everybody had to come out to the market square. I will go there right now. Currently I am going into the direction of the marketplace. This would have been the car from either the doctor or the dentist. And the entire village was gathered in this location. Nowadays there's some nice big, I think they're chestnut trees, and some SS people were standing over there, some were standing over here, some were standing over there guarding the villagers, and they still didn't have any idea. They still thought they were going to be checked for their identities, and they could go about their day a little bit after. But little did they know they would be split into two groups, which would be the men and the women and children. So the men were taken to several other locations, which I will show you in just a little bit, inside the village. And afterwards the women and children would be taken to the church. Right over here there's a water well. as you can see. Nowadays there's a raster on top of it, but doesn't go deep so far, but still. And I think this is one of the only buildings still in their original shape. I don't know if it's a little barn or that it was an actual house. I think it was a barn, but this is what the entire village probably would have looked like. So as I mentioned, the man and the woman were separated and taken to different locations inside the village. It was around 15 o'clock when all the villagers were gathered. 15:30 when they were separated. Around 4 o'clock the first machine guns started firing at the people, especially the men. And that took place in several different locations. For example, right here on this corner, it says ici lieu de supplice, un groupe d'hommes fut massacré et brûlé par les nazis. And yeah, it basically says this is one of the locations where a group of men was massacred and set ablaze to burn them. By now some more people started to pour into the village, so I don't have the space for my own anymore, but still I managed to capture some nice shots without anybody walking around here. Alright, on this corner, right here, there's another stone that says the same thing. So also on this corner a group of men was shot, executed, and once again they were set afire. And in this direction of the village some same things would happen, and into that direction also men were just shot down and put afire. Most of them were actually still living, and yeah, you have to imagine that some were given a shot afterwards to kill them, but most of the men were who just got injured or had only several wounds, and they were being burnt alive afterwards. Right here I have a little map, and right here is a photo. I don't know I actually do know the exact location. I just passed there already. It's a little down the road. Here are still the original signs on the garage of Mr. Boutaro. And right next to him was a tailleur. I think it was somebody who made clothing, of Mr. or Mrs. Centro. Right over here was a cafe and a coiffure, which was a hairdresser. Here was a quincellerie. I think it was a person who sold grain. Here was a pharmacy. Courtier, I don't know what that is. an épicerie, which would have been a place where you can buy herbs and stuff. I think a café boucherie, and once again here was a garage. I have to check if this was either this house. No, I didn't think so. I think it was that house with the stairs right there in front of it. And just look at the marble here. It also was a boucherie, and you can actually still see the covers from the windows. And it's just so crazy to walk around here knowing what happened on that sad Saturday, 10th of June in 1944. Well, I think the location of this photo was taken somewhere around here. But yeah, it's really hard to recognize some of the locations nowadays. We're going out to the church, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So this is the church of Oradour Sur Glane, and the women and children were taken into the church, and they already heard the shots coming from the machine guns, but they still didn't really know what was about to happen. And all the women and children were in here now, and a big box with some fuses in it were placed in the middle, and it was set ablaze, so there was smoke coming out of the box, and the women and children thought they were going to suffocate. So they started to run for the doors. Right there is a door, over there is a door, and right over there. But the SS guards started shooting at them, and you can still see traces of the bullets. For example, in this wall, right over here, in this memorial from the First World War, and also in this wall. So there was a lot of shooting going on in here. Now there is a story that one woman managed to escape, and she walked behind the altar here, and on that day there was a little ladder which they used to lit the candles, and she climbed up this middle window, and she tried to save some other people, but they were shot, and she jumped out, and I will show you when I go outside again how high, from how high she fell. After all the women and children were killed inside the church, they set it afire, and the fire was so hot that it actually was able to burn the tower bell, and this is what left of it today. Right here you can still see metal, and yeah, you can actually really see the shape here. This is what rings the bell. But yeah, nowadays this is all that's left of it. The bodies were also burned inside here, and later when the other people from the village who came later saw what happened to their wives, to their mothers, to their daughters, because they were all burned inside the church. Currently I am walking around here, and as I said, there were several doors where the women tried to escape from, and this was one of them. But also here there were SS guards shooting back at the woman. Right over there you can see the door which was inside the church, and you already see that this is quite some distance. Now that woman that jumped from the roof, from the window, came from that middle window that you can see over there. And I will try to show you. This is about 3.5 meters that she fell down. And right there it says, try to translate it, but it says Mrs. Ffrance jumped from this window to escape the church from the fire and the shooting. She was injured, and I think she tried to make it to those woods, because I've been reading the story that says that she was laying there for basically for dead for several hours, or maybe even a day. Right now I'm back in the church for a little bit because I want to tell you a little story about this confessional. Everybody else, the women and the children, were shot inside the church, and there were only 2 boys who stepped inside here trying to escape the bullets, and they were wounded because their legs were covered in blood, but they could get out of the church afterwards and their wounds were attended to. But this would be the actual confessional where the kids were standing in, trying to get away from the bullets and the fire. Currently I'm just sitting at the stairs in front of the church, because walking around in this village makes quite an impressive impact on you, as you can imagine. But I wanted to show you where I am right now, and this shows the church, how it used to look like, and this is how it is today. You can see the line to this green building here, and that is where the church is right now. As you can see, there's a road going here, going in this direction. Here's the market square where the men and women and children were gathered, and then it goes all the way to here. So this entire village is actually quite big, and it had back in 1940 about 1,500 people living in it. Later on it became a little bit more because of the people who fled from other areas, such as right here there's a little school from people who fled from Moselle. But yeah, this is just one little piece of the entire village, and I have been walking around up and down this street already for several times, and I'm going to show you this area in just a little bit. Afterwards also I'm going to the monument area and the cemetery. Right here is a area behind the church where I wasn't able to go yesterday because of time. Right here is one of the remaining buildings as well. And here is an area where some cars are still left behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Also here on the other side of the road there's still a car. I think this must have been some garage or something. And this car is just frozen in time. And you can see here and there still there's a bike and what it must have been a table and a bucket. There's even a part of a spade. One of the things that you see on many occasions in this building, in this village, is the amount of sewing machines. Because basically every home had at least one sewing machine. I'm gonna try to show you some in just a little bit. For example, this was a café coiffeur, and right over there, that will be the first one. Also, I want to point out this here is also a place where men were shot and put a fire to be cremated. There's still a bed visible. Let's go see on this side. Right over there on the wall is another sewing machine. Going to the cemetery in just a bit. Right over here is what looks like a sewing machine. Right between this door or window, also a sewing machine right there. Here is actually a pan still hanging from the wall, and right over there is another sewing machine. So this was just a regular village. Even a sink right over there. Another sewing machine right over there. Water pump. Cars just standing in the homes. Alright, now I'm going to try to locate the women's school and the boys' school. Okay, this was the girls' school, and on the day of 10th June 1944, the children were gathered at school for medical exams or examinations. And as soon as the Germans called out that the children had to come to the market square, they walked in rows with the teachers in front of them. And also they did not have any idea what was about to happen yet. As you can see here in the village, here was actually a petrol pump. Here once again a location where men were shot and being burned. As I said, this village has a tram rail going through the village. There's also a little station from Oradour Sur Glane right there. And in the morning people left to go to work in other villages. And by the end of the day they had to come home, of course. But yet they still did not had any idea what happened here in the afternoon, starting from 2 o'clock. So they were told by the SS to turn around and go back where they came from. They had to find any location to stay for a while until the SS left, to come back here and find their women, children, loved ones, parents being burnt, and their entire village being burnt as well. So they had no place to go anymore. And of course, like many other places during the war, this was not the only location where people had to get away from, because it was not livable anymore. Alright, I'm getting closer, I think, to the boys' school. And as I mentioned, here are the two buildings from the tram. So in the morning you would come here, get the tram to another village, do your job there, and you come home to nothing. It's unbelievable, unimaginable. Okay, so right over here is the building where the mayor of the city lived. And he, together with a doctor and 4 children, gave themselves up to be hostages of the Germans. The Germans accepted, but they didn't know that they were going to continue to execute the entire village anyway. I think this must have been the school for the boys, or at least what is left of it. Walk in the direction of the end of the village, you find on this side the postal office, which is really quite a pretty building, or was. Because you can see the roses there, or the flowers at the corner. Here it says Oradour Sur Glane, and Mrs. Odette Bouillard, I think I pronounce it, I'm not too sure actually, run the postal office. And here you can see the little wall, and right in the back you can see the modern church of the new town of Oradour Sur Glane. Somewhere around here there was also a wine cellar, and as soon as the Germans or the SSers were done killing, shooting the people, burning them alive, they went to the wine cellar, drank all the wine that they could drink, kill some chickens, have them for dinner, and they left the horses and the pigs and the cows from the farmers just to be. And several days later, when they left, more people started to come here to find the village being burned and no people inside the village anymore. And also several days later, the SS returned to get rid of as much as possible of evidence. Right here I'm walking toward the cemetery, which was the cemetery from back in the days, because the cemetery where the people of the village were cremated, were buried, or what was left of them, is on another cemetery. In the end, 643 people died in this village, and not everybody actually died, because there were some who managed to escape, as I was telling the lady who jumped from the window in the church, who in the end lost her children and her husband. In this boys' school, there was one boy from 8 years old who managed to escape, because he was also from another village and he knew that the SS were bad. And several other men who crawled from underneath the pile of bodies who were being burned to hide inside a little corner of some houses who were set afire. And as soon as that became too dangerous, they tried to find another way to escape. So from the 643 people who died here, there are still several people who were able to tell the story in later life. So as I said, Germans drank the wine, and this was the house of Dennis, who had the wine cellar where the wine came from. Right here I wanted to point out that there is still some buckets left. Right over there's another sewing machine. Here was the garage, as I already showed you. And yeah, walking up and down this street, which was the main street, is just unimaginable. Right here, this building, which says Forgeron. I don't know what that is. Maybe someone who worked with metal. There's some bike, saw, tractor seat, some other materials, water bucket. Also still visible. Right over there's even a part of a bed. And this is just across the market square. Some homes are being fenced off because it's even more dangerous to walk around there. As you can see, they also put some metal poles right here to support the building, or else it would just collapse. And there you can see some white tags, so probably they will try to save it as good as possible. Currently I am walking towards the memorial, which is in the, I think it's the north of the village. You can see it right here on the map. And this is just a big grass field with some stone building on the end. I'm gonna show you a little bit around here. Let's go and walk in the shade because the sun's out and it's getting nice and warm already, especially if you're walking around the entire time. I try to imagine that on the 10th of June in 44 the weather would probably must have been the same weather as it is today. Today it's the 20th of August and it's still full summer here. So this little stone building is the memorial. I'm gonna take my hat off out of respect. Let's see what is down here. There are some personal artifacts from the people inside the village. Some music instruments. This one is empty. Buttons, shuffle, clock. Right over there some plates. Another clock, some parts of oil lamp. Alright. Walking from this corridor, you go back outside, it seems. And you enter this nice little garden. And going around the corner here, you get indeed back at the location from the memorial. Now let's go to the cemetery. They're all parts of bones right here. It's just unbelievable. You can see here Texir Yves 1 year, Texir Jean 2 years, Texir Camille 28 years, 7 years, 37, 84, 60, 82. So this is the SS didn't even make any exception for the children. Now I'm going to leave the cemetery, and there's just one place left I want to show you. So let's go there. Right here, there's where they found the corpse of Mr. Poutaro, and I can't really remember what it was, but I think he was the owner of a garage inside the village. Right over here there's another plaquette that says the location where men were shot and burnt, and it says Six hommes se sont échappés de cette grange. I have no idea what it means, but I think there were 6 people here who were being shot. These are little salamanders, or what they're called, and the village is covered with them. I've seen them walking around for on several occasions already. I think they just can walk around in peace here and just doing their things. So this is the other end of the village, and once again there's a little train track going, and this is the location where some of the SS sentries told the tram to return from where it came, and that they could not enter the village. Another thing that I wanted to point out is one of the reasons why this village was so popular by people from neighboring towns is that right over there there's a bridge, and underneath the bridge there's the river Glane, which have many fish swimming in it. And there are also photos from children standing along the river fishing in the days or the weeks or the years before the war broke out, or in the time before the SS came here to destroy this village. So right here is the shed of Monsieur Bouchoul, or Mr. Bouchoul, and once again this is one of the locations where a group of men was shot and being burned. And right over there, that is the school. And now I have to peek for a bit. With the people who fled from the town or the area of Moselle. And the teacher who practiced his lessons there also worked there, and he also came from Moselle. And right over here, once again, there's a sewing machine. Right over there where a group of people is standing, there's a tour guide going on right now, so I won't go too close. But this is the location where a water well was, and inside the well there were also a lot of bodies found. So they will probably be shot first and then thrown into the well. Here, I think it would be here. Well, it's closed off now, of course, but making such a discovery must have been horrible. Alright, that was the tour from the village. Right now we're going back inside to do the exhibition, because there are some personal artifacts from the people of this village, and I'm not allowed to film inside, so I'm going to do it right here. Along the walls on either side you can see all these faces, all these photos, and these are all the men and women and children who lived in the village. They tried to give them faces so they would not be forgotten. I am currently sitting in the stair house from the memorial, and as you can see I gave an impression of the village, what it looks like today, and the last hours that I was in the modern village and when I was in the hotel, I tried to imagine what the village must have been looked like when the SS came, and in the days before the massacre happened. I'm just trying to imagine that people have daily chores, going outside, go to the work, try to live their lives basically. And it's really hard to imagine the way it used to be, especially if you see those the old photos, you know. There are some things that I want to point out, and one of them is that the youngest of the inhabitants of this village was only 6 days old when it was killed, and it went up from just 6 days to several months to several years. And I think one of the oldest persons was in the 80s. So it didn't matter what age you were, they just came here and just messed up the entire village. It was the Das Reich division that came here, and I also wanted to point out that after the war was over, the Germans who took part in the massacre of this village went to court, but they were never really prosecuted. So they never were punished for what they have done here, and they were just able to live their lives after the war and after what happened here, and not just here, because there were also slaughters in the days before the massacre of this village. More south of France there were several locations where the SS also was. So yeah, it's just unimaginable that those people could walk free after the war. With that, I want to end this video. I hope you thought it was interesting. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and then I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.